Before we begin this next episode of the podcast, of the Ben Passing Target podcast, I want to begin with a moment of silence for Lance McDowell, who tragically lost his life about a month ago. So that moment of silence will begin now. Okay, for those of you who are curious who Lance McDowell was, he was a player for the Arizona Rattlers who was unfortunately shot and then passed away shortly after. I believe on here. Let me find it. Sorry, I don't remember the exact date. Oh, about 10 days ago. Actually, no, about a month ago. And a man has thankfully been arrested in St. Louis, of all places. Now let's begin the podcast in full. Oh, wrong thing. You put my homework up. Now let's begin the podcast in full. So, everyone, you know me. I am, of course, the Target Toad, TT. We have right here Mr. Ben. Oh, I guess I just accidentally revealed his name again. Mr. Ben. He is he's my permanent co-host, Mr. Ben.
Yes.
Mr. Ben. Yes.
Yep. Ben, yes. Ben the QB.
Of course.
Throwing dimes as always.
Of course, gotta be throwing them dimes, brah. Gotta be throwing them dimes. And we have a special guest today, as you noticed, a certain Prime Minister of Israel is according to us live from Jerusalem.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. You have a much more American accent than I thought you would have for speaking English.
Well, I grew up in Philly, so, that's what happens when you split your time between Israel and Philadelphia. You kind of take on the local dialect.
That is news to me.
Yeah, it's news to me, too. I thought you grew up out in, Phoenix. So anyways... yeah. No, obviously. So I guess I'll do a little brief introduction on myself. First. Just quick introduction for you.
Yeah. So I thought you were asking about, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel,
isn't that
as opposed to my alias, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yes.
Wait, it's an alias?
Yes, that is my alias. That's what I go on YouTube and about everything. That's what you can catch me as on the IFL live streams on YouTube. But I grew up in Phoenix, huge Rattlers fan. Go Rattlers. And just happy to be on the podcast today.
Okay, there we go. I guess that can be a next question for you. What is your experience with the Rattlers specifically? Like, how did you get into the Rattlers?
Yeah, so I got into the Rattlers back in 2016, I believe it was. Yeah, 2016, the summer of 2016. My buddy from high school, J. Rod Plum, in the IFL Discord told me that there were some student passes that were available to go to a game. And, I had heard of the Rattlers before, but I never watched a game or, anything. I just kind of assumed it was minor league football and wasn't really interested in it. But I decided to go and had a great time. I think they played, I want to say it was the Orlando Predators. They played in that game I went to. And had a great time. Enjoyed the game, and really started getting into it after that. Either watching it on TV or trying to go to as many games as possible. And I've really since followed him over from the AFL to the IFL, and obviously I'm pretty much watching all the games. If you've ever stopped by a YouTube live stream, you can see me trying to get under people's skin. On there.
I guess that goes into actually my favorite story involving you and someone else's skin. So it happened late in the season last year. Go into it. You know who I'm talking about. I'll give you a hint. SD. The Russian Jets.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember what you're referring to.
Strike. And not striker.
Oh, you mean the San Diego Strike Force?
Yes.
And
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Jihad Virtue. And,
yes.
Oh, God. Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, which if you're watching this podcast, you probably do, Jihad Virtue, the old quarterback for the Strike Force, just a awful quarterback. Wasn't very good, but his family members were always in the YouTube live streams cheering him on, and they all like every single game without fail were there supporting him, like any good family should. I don't fault them for doing that, but when your family members Jihad Virtue, the worst quarterback in the IFL, I'll give you a hard time about that. So I would get in the live streams, and anytime they would cheer him on, I would try to bring him back to reality. And eventually, it just kind of ended up with us hurling insults at each other, and I haven't seen them in any of the live streams. Towards the end of the season, and Jihad isn't in the league anymore, so I'm going to claim victory on that one. So yeah, they, I guess watch out. If you're in the YouTube live streams, watch out.
Because the Prime Minister Israel is coming for you, especially if you're a bad quarterback. And that actually leads to my next point. So have you ever paid attention to any of the NAL chats?
I have never watched an NAL game.
Cobra's games.
I can't say I have. Like I said, I pretty much only watched the IFL.
Okay. Well,
I may have spent 30 seconds or so in an NAL chat, but that's about it.
Well, there's a certain player if you ever watch the NAL chats, Ben, you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do.
Mama Poole. Her son, Cedric Poole. Let me get so I can pull him up real quick. Can't spell Cedric for the life of me. Again, for all y'all on the podcast, in case you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm physically finding Cedric Poole. Here we go. DB. That has nothing to do with that. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. So Cedric Poole is a member of the National Arena League. He also, I guess, how about that? I believe that's Kenny Veal. I believe it's this gentleman right here in the middle for the South Carolina player. I'm not entirely sure what college he went to. But anyways, if you've seen him, he's a solid defensive back on the Cobras last year. Now he's going to be on the Spokane Shock along with the rest of most of the Cobras players. And that means that Mama Poole, Paula Barnett is going to join the NAL chats. But trust me when I say Paula Barnett is a lot more chill than Jihad Virtue's family ever was. So you're not going to be hurling in some battles back and forth with Mama Poole.
There's nothing I love more than a good back and forth.
You won't get a back and forth with Paula Barnett just because she is about as stereotypical of a sweet old grandma as you're gonna get.
Are you challenging him?
Yeah, is this a challenge?
I am challenging Benjamin Netanyahu
are you
right
not,
now
are you not
to attempt to anger
entertained?
Paula Barnett. This is gonna be. You're not gonna like the results. I'm gonna say that right now. It's not because Paula's angry. It's because you're gonna feel bad about that.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right.
It's hard to.
I can't insult a sweet old grandma though. I have some semblance of a conscience. You have
some standards. Okay.
But this is BB we're talking about. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, probably.
Just go full send.
Probably. Although I do have one bad thing to report. That I did mention in the Discord. It does involve a certain, let's just say, unpleasant player at the current stretch. No, I do not care for your schedule, Duke City. Just continue. Here we go. Very sad news. It's the most tragicest news we've ever had to report on. Ironically tragic, not actually tragic. Like Lance McDowell's passing. If you look here, this is the current roster for the Duke City Gladiators, and unfortunately, one Antonio Brown is not a member of the team. That is highly.
Wait, Joe Rogan is still alive though, right?
I don't think he is.
Oh, I regret to inform you about something, Ben. Joe Rogan, famous podcaster, former Fear Factor host, and co-anchor at pretty much every UFC fight, has passed away from drinking too much chocolate milk. Buddy. His body couldn't handle it as it wasn't deer jerky.
Wait, he died drinking chocolate milk?
Yeah,
I
it was
have
an
a video for
unfortunate
that, by the
passing.
way.
Like
See-
King
see-
Henry?
wait.
Like King Henry?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly like King Henry. He died the same
No.
exact way King Henry did. Too much 2 MCM, too much chocolate milk. Which is why, BB, I have a video just for that. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me go back to my uploads.
I unfortunately do.
Yes, evil target toad. Evil target toad. Let's fucking I forgot I put so many like simulation football videos. Oh,
You know,
God.
Target Toad, there's one video I can show you that will just ruin your day. So I really don't know that I would talk.
Oh, I love ruining Target Toad's day.
I know exactly what videos you guys are talking about. Unfortunately, and by the way, again, Jesse is my real life name, so unfortunately, I know exactly what video you're talking about. But so we'll play that at the very end of the podcast. When we end off the podcast, we'll play that exact video, just like I did for the apology to Nate after a crazy night in Discord voice chat.
Is that how the voice chat ended up on slow mode for a while?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of
I
a, I
ruined
guess,
it
internal
for us.
story here. We had late night on Discord. Somebody played the Soviet anthem. I butchered it using fake weeb speak. Ben spammed a certain thing about 350 times in the Discord voice chat queue. It
Pretty
got
sure I
banned.
know what that was.
Yes, we'll get to that at the end. But
We won't mention it.
yes, but one more thing I do want to say about that, if I can get, oh sorry, brain block. Oh, I hate when that happens. You get brain block right in the middle of recording something. Anyways, we'll move off my current brain block and on to the next topic of discussion. How about some stuff that came out of the AAL? Why not the AAL? So, if you remember our last episode, we have an interview with current assistant GM for the West Michigan Ironman, Trevor. I forgot to pronounce his name already. Oh gosh.
Big T.
Big
Yeah,
T.
Big T. That's right. Thank you, Big T. Big T on the Discord. Thank you for reminding me, Big T. West Michigan, of course, they are in the American Arena League. There's a problem. The American Arena League has said they're going to have a full-on schedule. However, there is one big problem with that. Today it says check back on February 4th, 2020 on the site. Today is February 8th, 2020. I hit enter the AAL site, and it doesn't work on here. But basically, they promised a new schedule. However, a very unfortunate event involving the I believe the owner of the involving a very unfortunate event involving the owner of the Pennsylvania Copperheads happened, where that gentleman, I do not know his name, recently had a heart attack. Thankfully, he is still alive, as far as we know. As far as our limited info tells us, he is currently standing in he is still in a hospital. I'll read it to you. But the Pennsylvania Copperheads will not be playing this year. It's big news to pretty much everyone, which is why the AAL has not announced their official schedule at this time. Finally got the site up. But if you notice, it has a countdown which has been 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds for a past week now. About the AAL's official schedule, and that is because the Pennsylvania Copperheads owner, again, to our current knowledge, at the very least, had a heart attack and decided to fold the team, focusing on much more important issues than a football team. That, of course, being his personal health. So, that's something that's happened in the AAL. Do you have any care about the AAL at all, BB?
You know, I don't follow the AAL, but it's always sad to hear someone's health sort of deteriorate like that. So, you know, my thoughts are out to him and his family, and hopefully he can get a good recovery here soon.
Of course. Ben, anything else to add on to that part before we move on to the next league?
I mean, yeah, obviously, his recovery is way more important than football. So obviously he made the right choice to choose that as a priority.
Of course. So we'll actually move on to one more thing about the AAL, and more positive news is, assuming they can pull it off, the AAL recently has had a merger with the MAIF, I believe it's called, the Mid-Atlantic Indoor Football League. It's a small league. It has a couple of teams in it, It's a 5-team league, conveniently. It's moving over to the AAL to form its new Eastern Division. However, one of the teams, the headliner team for that league, the Reading Raptors, I'll pull them up right here on my computer. So again, this only happens to the video people. If you want to see the logo I'm talking about, I can't spell Raptors. You notice I have very poor spelling skills. Reading Raptors, find a good image of them. Here you go, Reading Raptors right there. They're a dominant team in the indoor football. They are a dominant team in the MAFL. They've won, I think, 5 straight years, 50 games. They won every game by 100 points. Basically what West Michigan was, but on a much deeper, on a much different scale. They may not be playing, but as it stands, 15-team AAL, 3 divisions. It looks to be better than it was the previous years. Now let's move on to the next league, the National Arena League. First up, this is only going to apply to video listeners. The Jersey Flight have changed their logo. It's no longer a purple and yellow ball. It's now a blue and yellow ball. And the Flight word is a little smaller. And trademark is small too. Pointless, I know, but hey, there you go.
That was the biggest news I've heard all season, or all this podcast.
Expansion team changed their logo that has yet to be changed according to the official NAL site. However, so as most of you do know, if you're watching this, I assume you do, the Arena Football League is no more. It's done. It's kaput. It's gone. They're bankrupt. To the point, however...
When are we holding the Memorial Barbecue?
We can make that on the 29th.
Hey, let's do it at the New York Guardians versus Tampa Bay Vipers, like tailgating before the game, because I'll be there. So
on April 12th, I'll be there too, but
all right.
I don't know if anybody will run into you. So I guess we'll jump over before we get to the main, more NAL news. Today is the first day of the XFL. DC beat Seattle. In the first game, Houston's probably gonna beat LA in that first game. I don't know the score currently. I think it's still ongoing, despite being 3 hours long. Tomorrow, Tampa Bay plays New York in New York, and the last game is St. Louis at Dallas. So, I guess we'll go into that real quick, just very briefly, since this is an indoor-focused podcast, not an outdoor-focused football podcast. But who do you think is going to win the XFL title, just like overall?
Hype.
Yes, hashtag my hashtag. I'm going to post a hashtag in case you're wondering how Ben and I are rating on this.
I'm gonna go with DC. I know that they're not the favorites as far as the betting odds go, but I think once they can kind of get their defense figured out, ironically because they're named the Defenders, I think they'll have a good shot at winning.
Am I the only one who finds it ironic that their head coach is an offensive guru? If they're called the Defenders.
No, you're not the one who finds that ironic. Although I do kind of find it.
I think their team name is terrible, but what do I know?
Almost all.
Yeah, I was gonna choose them as my team, but I could not support a team called the Defenders when I'm a quarterback.
Exactly. That's just. Plus, you're from Florida. I mean, it's not the same city in Florida, but you're from Florida. So
yeah, Florida's Florida. We support Florida teams.
Yes, we support Florida teams until it's Miami, except for Miami
and Orlando.
Yes, although my room notwithstanding, because if you guys, can you see me?
Yes.
I mean, you can see my room is a.
I can see your aqua walls.
Yes, it's an NFL shop catalog of Miami Dolphin stuff. So, yeah. So let's go on to So we got D's Defenders, Vipers, I assume for you, Ben?
Yep.
I'll play it safe and say Dallas, Landry Jones. Bob Stoops is the best coach in the league. It's the stereotypical pick everyone's going with. I'm just going to stick with it. And going back to the NFL, by the way, congrats to the Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl. Ben was close with San Fran. I was horribly wrong with New England. And BB, you weren't there for that last podcast, so yeah. And Quad City Dogs, that's wrong. Vipe, not hype. No, it is Vipe hype. Sorry, just more Discord stuff. Anyways, back to the big news in the NAL. So a couple of players have jumped over. I'll go over to the smaller names first. Mind you, this is smaller in relation. A couple of more background guys, but one big man. We'll go to the second biggest one. Kendrick Ings, of the Tampa Bay Storm, and the he jumped over to the he jumped over to the end from the darn it. Yeah, he jumped over from the jumped over from Atlantic City down to Massachusetts. And
I think he went up
well,
geographically.
yes, did he? I guess he did, yeah.
Massachusetts is north of New Jersey.
You're right. Thank you. And then we also have another. Speaking of New Jersey, they picked up another good quarterback. They picked up a great quarterback, who you may remember, Warren Smith Jr., the 2017 NAL MVP. Actually, was he MVP 2017?
Yeah, back when Lehigh Valley was good.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. He's a high school teacher, which is, I guess, a step up from Jason Boltus's middle school teacher back during the storm. And he is in Jersey. However, he is the only talent the Jersey Flight really have. So it's going to be Warren Smith running for his life, just like he did with the Atlantic City Blackhawks, just like he had to do with the Washington Valor. And that brings us to the man who took the Washington Valor from 2-10, from 0-10 to AFL champions, Arvil Nelson.
It's Advil.
Right. Oh, it's Advil? Okay, right.
Yeah.
Advil Nelson, 6'5", 220 pounds from the Texas Southern, signed by the West Virginia Rough Riders. He played for them before he went to the Valor. That opens the door. That basically doesn't just open the door wide open. It basically opens the door, and then West Virginia locks it behind them on that NAL championship. Although I'm sure you disagree with me, Ben.
Yeah, that is the stupidest take I've ever heard. I screen recorded that. You are the CEO of Cold Takes. I will play that audio when you are proven wrong.
April 4th, Kickoff Classic, Jacksonville in West Virginia. And hey, if Jacksonville shuts him up, then I'll shut up. But until then, I'm praising the move of Arvil Nelson.
Just know that
writing them in right now as NIL champions.
It will be part of the podcast when you are wrong.
Yes, it will. Because again, when this season starts, we're gonna go to weekly podcasts, just like AFL Tonight, my inspiration for the show. Regular weekly podcasts. Actually, we'll bring us over one more Arena League thing since we're still there before we hop over to the IFL for the rest of this podcast. Ben, so have you heard about the Arena League going back, re-adding the Hall of Fame in?
Yeah.
Both Bens.
Yeah, I heard that.
Here we go. Sorry.
Tommy Grady should be first ballot.
He will. Tommy Grady will absolutely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Apparently, Arena Football. It's not like that.
Seems a little odd for now defunct league to.
Well, it's run by Arena
have
fan.
A Hall of.
It's run by Arena fan. That's why.
Oh, shows you what I know about Arena Football.
Yep. It's got a couple of people coming in. Actually, Ben, real quick. Ben, when was your first IFNAL game? Your first Arena Rattlers game? Like, what year was that Rattlers game?
It was 2016, so the last season in the Arena Football League.
Okay. Yeah, so this is simply... So yeah, this is an AFL Hall of Fame. We got Tommy Grady from Ben. I'm going to put in another TT Tolliver.
Yeah, Tolliver, yeah.
What about you, BB? Any recommendations for the Hall of Fame?
Nick Davila, if he's not already in there.
He's not. The original Hall of Fame, it stopped at players who... Basically, no one who played in the Arena Football in the Arena Football after 2010 is in the Hall of Fame. They had the Hall of Fame for 2012 and 2011, and I think the only player who ever played in the second Arena Football League was Clevion Thomas, who's in the Hall of Fame. So, but yeah, and then there's one other guy who's a complete obvious one, Aaron Garcia. But we don't know. That's up to Arena Fan. Let them decide that. At some point, I want to get Tim Capper on the show. Maybe even Adam Markowitz, the most pessimistic Predators fan of all time. But going back to what I was saying. Sorry. But anyways, let's move on to the league we're just going to be spending the bulk of the time about. We went over the AAL, went over the IFL, went over the NAL. We don't care about the CIF. I don't think anyone honestly does. I'm not even sure CIF fans actually exist. I'm sorry, but like the CIF, they're just
It's a simulation.
there you
We
go.
live in a
It's
simulation.
it's the Matrix. I know it
Half the
exists,
people in this
but
world aren't
myself
real
and
people.
Ben, we're both East Coasters. BB's on the West Coast, not Philly, Arizona. He's on the West Coast, so and the CIF's the Central Coast. Outside of that merger failure with
It's
the
not a
NAL.
coast.
Yeah.
No. There's technically it's a Mexican coast.
Oh,
It's
the
called
Gulf
Mexico.
of Mexico, okay, but that's a stretch.
It is definitely a stretch, though. So that's probably a no thing about all that. So now let's move on to the league, which I know BB is the most interested in by far. The Indoor Football League. First question, most important question. BB, what do you think of the new IFL logo?
We need to bring back the eagle.
Yes.
Free
Everyone.
goal
I know
eagle.
that. Yeah, I know that's not an unpopular opinion. In fact, it's pretty common. But yeah, I liked the old logo. I thought it was. I thought it was good. I think they shouldn't have changed it. And if they were going to change it, they should have at least kept the eagle.
Mm-hmm. Like, if they wanted to, like, change up the logo a little bit, like, maybe change up that font to be that plain white or whatever, then they could just have the eagle behind that new IFL font with the ball swishing, but keep the eagle, man, at least the wings and the head. I mean, it's the eagle is, sure, it's a little cheesy, but it's unique. And when you're at this level of football, you need unique. Otherwise, just kind of blend in. Like, that is the most generic-looking sports logo I could think of. It's just shield, team league name, sports ball flying in front of it. It's the most generic minor league logo possible. With hey, it's the.
I love me some sports ball.
Yes, I love me some. It's the IFL.
This week in sports ball.
This week in sports ball.
Tonight on ESPN.
Unfortunately, your name tree will never cover the Indoor Football League.
We need to get him on the podcast.
We're gonna get your name tree on a podcast.
That's
but
my goal by the end of 2020.
Yes, totally. Somehow. I guess we're gonna kidnap the man. Who knows? Maybe we'll make him watch a Berg Defenders game. Who knows? We'll give him a choice. Watch every Berg Defenders game back to back, or come to our podcast, or come to our Indoor Football podcast.
We will kidnap him.
Your nitty tree recently.
Why are you laughing? That wasn't a joke. That's serious. Let's kidnap him.
I know it's serious, but you know, we gotta make it sound like a joke, or else the feds are gonna get us.
They're already on me. Don't worry about it.
But then who will I run the podcast with? I need a Ben to run the podcast with.
Hello.
There's like 8 different Bens in this. Like,
I know.
you'll find another one.
It won't be as good.
I know no one's as good as me. I'm the best.
Yeah, you're definitely the best. You're definitely the starter.
Is that why you're a backup quarterback?
Okay, well, the starter's like 6'4". He's committed to play baseball for the University of Tennessee. I don't know what you want.
I want you to be 6'5" and commit to playing baseball at the University of Kentucky. Yeah,
I'm a football only guy.
Yeah, football. I don't pay attention to baseball. Last time I cared about baseball, I was like 10 years old playing the Mario baseball game on my Wii. I don't care about baseball.
That's a shame. Baseball's a great sport.
I don't have it.
Yeah,
it's great if you're a stats nerd, but I find it as a cure to as the best cure to insomnia.
I find it boring.
Exactly. So let's go on to the league. BB, let's talk about your team, the Rattlers.
Oh yeah.
So
we're coming for that championship. It's the Kevin Guy revenge tour this season.
Bruh, you legit did a 15-1.
How do you feel?
I was heartbroken. After that game. Still heartbroken. That was a sad loss, but you know we're gonna be coming guns blazing for the championship this season.
Yep.
It'll be nice to actually have some competition this year. I'll be excited to have. I'm excited to have Spokane back in the league.
With basically
To have
your turn.
Yeah, to have a rival in the league that isn't Sioux Falls, whom we play like
Once.
if we're lucky twice a season. But it should be a good season. I hate the schedule. I know I'm not alone in
we made an
in
entire
saying
podcast
that.
running about that horrible
Yeah,
schedule.
that
Again,
that is. Yeah, I saw that episode. It's a terrible schedule. Just the second closest team to Arizona, distance wise, is San Diego, and we never play them. So I don't know.
Cal, you're right.
I don't
We
know.
never play the Strike Force. How did I not notice
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal with that is. Also, like, some of the dates are wrong. I brought this up, I think, in the Discord, where Arizona and I believe Tucson are supposed to be playing. And on on the Rattler schedule, it says it's like May 9th. And on the Tucson schedule, it says it's May 8th. So, obviously the quality control department over in where the Grand Island, Nebraska, that was where they still are.
I think they moved their
That
headquarters
island
down
sure
to
is
Frisco
great.
this year.
Oh, are they down in Frisco now?
Yeah, because there's not a team in Grand Island anymore.
You're in San Francisco?
No. Yes. No.
Fritos?
Fritos, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Lay's, Texas. By the way, thank you, IFL. I finally found out where Lay's makes all their chips at. Thank you, IFL. That's the one good thing the Frisco thing is done.
You never looked at, like, the back of a Lay's potato chip bag?
No, I knew it was in Frisco, Texas, but I had no idea where Frisco, Texas was.
Every time I eat a bag of Lay's chips, I read the nutrition label to remind myself of how sad everything is.
Actually, plain flavored Lay's aren't really that sad. Like, it's just like, I looked it up. I just ate a bag of Lay's today for lunch, but it's like potato, veggie oil, and salt. The second you add any flavoring, though, you realize you need a PhD in literature to pronounce half of it. Actually, no, PhD in biology. There you go. Not literature.
Chipology.
Yeah, PhD in literature means you're able to detect the exact meaning of ribosucculate fabolate. I don't know. I'm no Scientologist.
Yes.
I'm not a Scientologist.
Tom Cruise knows how to pronounce all those words, is what you're saying.
Which is why Scientology is a cult. But like real talk, if you live in Tampa area, you know what Scientology is. My opinion, it's a cult, not a religion. Please remove their taxing status, Congress. Back to non-political IFL religious stuff. Back to the IFL. Wait, where did I? No, okay, I'm still on the site. Okay. Rattlers, yeah. So, what do you think about them releasing Verlon Reed? In order to
Tragic.
He was decent. Like the one game he played last season. Obviously, he had some health issues, so I'm not like supremely bummed. It's always sad to see a player who has such great potential have that spoiled, by constant injury. But I think the quarterbacks we have on our roster are first rate. I think they will lead us to a championship, and so in the end, a GM has got to do what he's got to do, and Kevin Guy, as proven by his track record, knows what he's doing. So I put my trust in him.
Mm-hmm. And Drew Powell is a great quarterback, but I don't remember who the Rattlers have at their backup quarterback position. Because you need a backup QB. Because it's not Ziemba. As much as I love Ziemba and you hate Ziemba, it's not Ziemba. I don't think it's Ziemba. Where's that? I mean, unless they're gonna try to pick him up from the tryouts.
It was a shit. It was a shame we didn't continue on with the trend of just taking last year's IFL MVP and making them our starting quarterback. He's down in Tucson now. So
Yes, and that'll be the next thing we want to talk about: the Iowa Barnstormers. The Iowa Barnstormers. You don't have it. The Tucson Sugar Skulls. You have it. You ask Mom for. That was the meme. That was the great meme. The wind seems to agree. Isn't that right, Ben? I don't know. Is that your dog or the wind?
I hear it.
Are those your dogs?
that's probably my dog.
There you go. Your
That's
dog.
my dog in the background.
My dog has a higher bark.
Yeah, my grandma puppies do too. Let's see. R you too. Sorry, Tucson. The Sugar Skulls. Any thoughts on them this year? Like, how do you think they're gonna do compared to Iowa last year?
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Tucson's a good team. I think they were a good team last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they brought in some good additions. So, which is sad to see because Tucson's basically, in a way, become Arizona's rival. I mean, they're in the same state, but it's at the same time, it's hard to be a rival when the head coach of one team is the owner of the other.
I'm gonna say it for you. Also known as the little brother.
Yeah, we kind of spank their ass all the time. Pardon my French.
Well,
so
okay. 3 times you whooped them twice. They played hard with they played hard with you with anyone else in the league except for that Sioux Falls game. They got you within a 2-point conversion of a loss in the regular season, and they played hard for 3 quarters on the road in Tucson.
Yeah, I saw them play the Rattlers in Tucson. What was that? Mid-April last season. That was an exciting game.
Was that the one that came down like the final 2-point conversion, or?
No, that was the game in June. That was in Phoenix. So, I think they'll give the Rattlers a run for their money this season. I don't think they'll ever beat the Rattlers. I don't think Kevin Guy would allow that, but
he'll fold the team if they beat them.
Yeah, they'll mid-game just be like, "Oh, sorry guys." If they're winning it, just like the Tampa Bay Storm.
Yeah.
Bro.
I think if the Sugar Skulls are ever beating the Rattlers at halftime, Kevin Guy might just pull a New York streets and just steal all their stuff in the locker room, and the team would probably quit right there.
Wouldn't it technically him be stealing his own stuff though? I mean, he is the owner of that team.
He does own that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would just give him an excuse to fold the team, and then he'd probably end up in the Canadian Football League.
Oh gosh, yeah. That probably would happen pretty soon. Actually, that Tucson. I think technically his wife owns it. Like Kevin Guy's wife owns Sugar Skulls. Legally, I think she does.
I think she does, or she's at least running the day-to-day operations of the team.
There you go.
I don't know who owns it, outright, but
I'm not sure if I might be wrong in this, but I think it does have to be Kevin Guy's wife. Otherwise, the IFL wouldn't approve it. She legally had to be the one to write her name on the on the team ownership papers. But of course, obviously, Kevin helps out. I mean,
it's the IFL. I mean, if Roy Choi, a chef in LA, can own 3 teams, I think Kevin Guy could probably get away with owning 1.
He's a chef? I thought he was some tech dude.
I think there's 2 different Roy Chois.
Oh.
One of them. I thought on the Wikipedia page I saw that it was the chef, but I could be wrong. That's why every teacher in every high school in America says not to use it as a.
But you know what I do? You know what I do? I do it anyway.
Oh,
And that's
you
why I get
mad lad.
74s on paper.
That's why.
That's a hashtag 74. Let's see if I can pick find another good team. I just want to go team by team with BB, and this will basically be the barring except for the episode like after the super episode, which I will explain towards the end of the podcast, and the weekly previews as we get to the game season starting. This will be the close we're gonna have to a last minute IFL off-season preview. So I guess I'll go team by team. Rattlers, we know they're gonna be good. They're basically the all-star squad again. Tucson is basically just Iowa with Mike Jones. Actually, let's go to. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on this zombie Iowa, as we're gonna call them, the zombie Stormers?
They will be a shell of the team they were last season. I don't think they'll be very good. Give credit where credit is due. Dayquil Neal was pretty decent last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be lost without him and without who was their head coach. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
What are you talking about?
Dixie Wooten. Yeah.
Dixie Wooten.
Yeah. So I think
Tucson.
I think they'll be hurting without those two key factors. But even prior to having Dayquil Neal, as we like to call them, on their team,
mm-hmm.
they've still been perennial. They've been in the playoffs every season. So, I don't think they will be as bad as many teams will be. I think they will be a shell in their self, from their former selves. But I think they will still at least end up with a 500 record at the end of the season. I think they'll make the playoffs. Is my prediction. So, this will be fun to come back to in a few months when they end up at with 3 wins under the helm of their current head coach. I'm not known.
Yeah,
I'm not known for good predictions. I mean, the Super Bowl many years ago, when the Seahawks played the Broncos, I predicted the Broncos would win by 20 points. So
did I.
Yeah. So
I thought it was going to be Seattle, but Seattle close, not 52-10 or whatever it was.
I actually bet on that game, and the thing was, if I lost that bet, I had to eat dog food. Can you guess what happened?
You ended up eating dog food.
Yeah. It was pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the dog food. You see, the wet dog food, not that bad. It just tastes like old, ground up old Spam. But dry dog food, that stuff is terrible. That stuff tastes about as bad as that chair. About as bad as chairs.
I gotta say, when this podcast started, I did not think it would end up being us talking about eating dog food. But I guess you never know when Ben passes the target.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Title drop. I gotta mail you a cough drop or something. All right.
Mail him just one cough drop.
No, just one cough drop. Just one. I'll just put it in a PO box. 1 Hall's cough drop. 2 is right. 2 Israel. But I'll misspell.
What flavor?
Cherry.
Please, if I can make, beggars can't be choosers, but if it could be a sugar-free cough drop, as you know, I'm diabetic, so.
Of course.
Would you like a latex glove? A used latex glove?
Why?
I don't know. I just had one laying around.
I don't want to know what it was used for.
We'll wrap the cough drop in that. Speaking of a cough drop,
it was used for a class. Don't worry.
Speaking of a cough drop wrapped in a used glove, let's talk about the Bismarck Buck snack. That's about a good accuracy of the taste it has.
Yeah.
If a cough drop wrapped in a used glove is to taste equals football, that would be the Bismarck Bucks. They look utterly bad.
Yeah, I mean, the the Bucks last season were the Jihad Virtue to the IFL. Like, their entire team was bad. Whereas, like, with San Diego, like, had a somewhat decent squad outside of their quarterback, but Bismarck was just abysmal.
But Bismarck beat San Diego.
A Bismarck. Funny.
Bismarck.
Thank you. I try. I'll be here all week.
Well, I don't. Well, you heard it here, folks. This podcast is actually 168 hours long.
Yeah.
How did you calculate that fast?
When I was like 12, I was like 15. I had that phone game Simpsons Tapped Out, and one of the things was you can either buy $5 to get XP, or you can wait an IRL week, and it had 168 hours. So I've always remembered that for some reason.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why were you playing a Simpsons game?
Hey, the Simpsons are great.
Yeah, I've been a big. I was before I found out about the whole Ep6 stuff with Matt Groening, but I was a big Simpsons fan to the point I'd watched every episode. I have almost all of them on DVD from season 1 to 20. So, yeah.
So the good ones.
Yeah, basically, all of well, not just the good ones, the bad, the meh ones, the bad ones, the ones that that people call the death of the series, all of them.
When I was little, I used to think it was a show about Legos.
Honestly, they look like Lego people. They do kind of look like Lego people. I mean, I don't blame you for that. I guess I'll say one nice thing about two nice things about Bismarck. Number one, Skill 117's a fan. I guess but
he's also a fan of the Patriots, so I'm not sure. I will
at least give him a pass because he's from Massachusetts. If you're from Massachusetts, you get to root for the Patriots without being called a bandwagoner.
Hold on. What about this? I sometimes root for them because Tom Brady played for my favorite college team.
No,
only because you weren't alive when Tom Brady played for that college team.
That is fair. Okay.
Like, plus, I don't count, being oh, hey, the guy played for a college team when I was 1 year old. You have to at least be you gotta at least be 2 or 3. At least he was in potty training at that point.
He was drafted 3 years before I was born.
Yeah. But you know who was back? You know who the guy who was ahead of him on that 2000 Patriots depth chart was?
Drew Bledsoe and someone else.
Michael Bishop.
Who?
Arena League Mike Vick.
Oh,
minus
okay.
the dog, minus the beating up dogs.
You never know. I mean, he could have beat up dogs. I beat up dogs. Wait.
I wouldn't tell your dog that.
And on that note,
on that note, we'll move on to a team which we'll move on, I guess, to a team from my dad's home state, New Mexico, the Duke City Gladiators. Any
the
thoughts?
David Buster's team.
Yes,
the
David
Buster's team.
Mm-hmm.
They won the CIF championship last year, right?
Back-to-back years.
Yeah. They are going. My prediction for them is they are going to be what you'd expect from a team that debuted at a Dave & Buster's. They will.
I'm pretty sure Bismarck was pretty good in the CIF before they went to the IFL. So I think
Bismarck was a foreign. It was 7-5 2 years ago with Jonathan Bain, and the last year in the CIF they were 4-8.
Oh.
Yeah. Quad City though. Quad City went from 8-6 to 6-8. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Quad City. I mean, I only got one problem with them. They don't
is Quad City named after Saquon Barkley?
Yes.
What? Where did you get Quad City after Saquon?
Do you know anything about Saquon Barkley?
I do. I had him on my fantasy team. He
No, I'm
did
talking
nothing
about
most
the dude.
of the season except
The
until the
dude has-
playoffs, where he got 50,000 points on the fantasy points on the Dolphins. But I don't.
The man has quads that are so giant.
Okay, so he has giant quads, but that doesn't mean but that doesn't make him a city. It doesn't
They
make him a
named it
steam
after-
wheeler. Calling it right now. He's gonna tear his quads are gonna rip in half this season. He's gonna be in the Quad City Steamrollers in 2 years.
That is certainly a bold take.
Well,
I don't.
guys with a lot of muscles are definitely more prone to get injuries.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that why you're never injured, Ben?
Well, the funny thing, you should mention that my lower body is way more muscular than my upper body.
I have no muscles. My body is pure lard. My body is
But-
pure lard, and my diet is pure cake. My diet
But that 40-yard dash you ran was pretty fast.
yeah, 6.8 seconds.
It's honestly probably faster than mine.
Well,
You
that's
should
'cause
have
you're
been about a
quarterback. You don't
tenth of a
have to throw-
second slower.
You're a quarterback,
No.
dude. You don't have to run.
Yeah, I know. Actually, the funny thing, this past year I ran it and I got a 5:03, and I was celebrating because that was the first time I was faster than Tom Brady.
Nice.
That's my only goal.
Yeah.
And NFL, here you come.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hey.
I'm faster than the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, that's
Go ahead and just give me the Lombardi.
You don't get 6 though. You only get 1. Sorry.
Yeah,
Hey.
you also don't get the Lombardi because you're a Lions fan, so you just don't show up to the game.
We don't win playoff games.
Yeah, well, you won one in your last
Yeah.
25
Yeah, you want
years.
to know the funny
No,
part
he's
about
won
that?
one.
That
He's
was
won.
that was
The Lions have won 1 playoff game since the invention of color television.
yeah, and that was 11 and a half years before I was born.
No. Yeah, it was. You're right. The last Lions playoff win. I was about to say the invention. Wait a minute. Are you sure you're actually old enough, young man, to not be in the?
Yeah, the last time they were in the playoffs
Boomer
was 2016.
The last time you got there, but you didn't win that game. You lost to the Seahawks.
Seahawks, 26-6.
Mm-hmm.
A big F in the chat.
Last time Dolphins won a playoff game, it was 2000, and it was 2000, and they beat the Colts. The Manning.
Oh yeah,
Colts.
you guys made the playoffs the same year we did last, 2016.
Yeah, and we also got our butts kicked, but at least we had the excuse of backup quarterback. So there's that.
Okay, but was Ryan Tannehill going to do anything?
No. Matt Moore honestly was better. But I guess moving on to the next team, as we were there, the Steam Wheelers. Quad City. They basically returned a lot of their guys from last year. Quad City had some decent players. Their problem was the fact that the game doesn't end at the fact that the game is 60 minutes long, not 55 minutes long.
Sucks.
Yeah. I mean, they have the best passer, at least stats wise, in EJ Hilliard. The 2 best receivers in the league, unquestionable, in Ruddy and Pendroza. But they don't know how to win in the fourth quarter. If they can win in the fourth quarter, they're going to win the East Division. If they can't win in the fourth quarter, they're not going to get to the playoffs.
I think
What
that's
are
how
we using as
football
far?
works.
What
You want
are
to be
we
leading
using
in
as
the
far as?
fourth quarter.
Divisions?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. 100% of teams who are leading at the end of the fourth quarter are win the game. So
The easiest way to win is to score more than your opponent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Booger McFarland.
Fun fact: Booger McFarland played for the Bucks from
Hey.
Tampa, and he grew up in Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find something. Here we go. My team, the Green Bay Blizzard.
No, your team folded a couple of years ago, bud.
My backup. See, I'm on the rebound right now. You find the worst guys in the worst. Wait, that's a girl thing. You find the worst things on the rebound, but I found a good rebound person. Person, guy. What do you consider a team? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Is it like a boat?
Yes.
There you go. I found the Green Bay Blizzard. So, anyways, I'll speak for the Blizzard on this one. You guys can chime in. The Blizzard are basically the same team as last year. BJ Hill is unfortunately retired because I think he's 36 now. The fact he even played last year amazed me. They're going to have Alex Stroff every game this year announcer. Thank goodness. But,
Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah, he does a Alex Stroff is the best announcer in the IFL. No holds bar. He actually pays attention to the chat. We are going to the United Bowl solely because number one, we have the easiest schedule in the league. Number two, we got 55 back.
Oh, so he's eligible?
55 is eligible, babe. 55 is going to be eligible. 55 is eligible, my friends.
Wait, what's his name?
Can't wait to spam the chat with that.
Hey. I made 55 is eligible a meme. That's my most impressive claim to fame.
Hey, earlier today I already made a meme in the XFL chats, so...
Hashtag A...
This is
How do you pronounce
It's
it?
This is the Joe
Asex, there you go. Asex, there you go.
Rogan died.
No, Joe Rogan's been a thing for... Joe Rogan died again. I mean, that doesn't even deserve
He
an
dies
ass
every-
because that dude has got, like, legit, like, infinite lives. So...
Why does he die every weekend?
Because, I don't know. It's like, it's a side effect of doing too much... What's that called? CBD? CBT?
I don't know. I'm not a pothead.
DST? I'm not putting that out. DST, whatever.
DMT.
Thank you. That's the side effect of DMT. You gain immortality, but you die every weekend.
I just want to watch sports without finding out he died.
I know. I just want to watch sports without finding out Jeff Rogan died. I want to watch the news without finding out Sam Hyde did I'm trying to think of a way that won't get a pew-pew thingy at an academic institution.
Like, when I die, I'm not going to tell anyone. People are just going to wonder what happened.
When I die, I'm not going to tell anyone. Oh, that's
Like,
lovely.
I'm just going to go missing.
You're just going to go missing.
You okay there, Target?
I should not be laughing at that. It's gallows humor. Oh, boy. Let's go to the next team that looks like it's going to be hitting the gallows. The Oakland Panthers of the Freedom Football League. Beast Mode's team. We'll leave it at that. We
The
don't really
NFL
know much
did
about
allow
them.
him to.
We're not even sure if Marshawn Lynch can even own the team anymore. One of the other thirds got arrested for literally fraud, for like embezzling Oakland City Council money to fund the Panthers. And the third owner of the team is Roy Choi.
My boy Roy Choi, yeah.
Roy Choi.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to another Roy Choi team.
The best bot in the Discord.
Yes, best Discord bot at Screw You 1998 Gateway PC. You were bad.
What about DJ Jazzy Jihad for sure?
Bruh. Imagine that on repeat for like 3 hours because we can't hit the skip button in time thanks to Nate's slow mode, thanks to Ben spamming, thanks to me thinking weebing the Soviet anthem was a good idea at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, so if you think about it, it's all your idea. What? No, because I was the person who requested the song.
You did request the song, so it's your fault for requesting the song.
I started all this.
Yes,
it's a
your
chain
fault,
reaction.
Ben. It's your fault. We can all blame Ben, the quarterback. Let's move on. Speaking of quarterbacks,
backup quarterback.
No, he'll be a starter. He'll be a starter in full. He'll be a starter when he comes home.
Yeah, when I get down here, I'm pretty confident I'll be starting.
Yeah, and it'll be regular V, not JV. I don't think we even have JV in Florida.
Oh, really?
I don't think we do, man.
Well,
we do, but it's not like counted like state levels. Like, hey, you want to play in the JV football club? Okay, we'll play in the JV football club. It's like the practice squad. I don't think we really have JV though in Florida.
I know, like the school I'm going to, I doubt they even have JV. Like their entire varsity is 23 players. That's super small. The school is like a quarter the size of the one I go to now.
Yeah, you'll probably be starter, dude. Then again, I graduate. Then again, I went to a 4 through 12 school that had 80 kids, 4th grade through 12th grade, until the last year we got 26 graders. And I was top of my graduating class of 7 people.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's more people we ever had in the podcast. That's something.
So what was class like? 7 people.
Basically, they had 2 grades. They had 2 grades combined in each class. And the day opened, and the teacher said, "Here's a folder. Do the work on the folder, and we'll have a math group at like 10."
Oh, I couldn't imagine just being handed a bunch of worksheets and that's it. Oh God.
Yeah, basically. Well, no. Sometimes you had a chapter. You had to answer questions from the chapter in the book. Okay, but I won't lie.
Oh,
It was
that's
a
even
very easy
worse.
class. It was a very easy school. I'm not gonna lie about that. The important thing in that school was getting kids who had if you were struggling socially, they fix you up in that. If you were struggling academically, they fix you up in that. By having an easy social system and an easy academic system to kind of balance out, to make there they can like
Wait.
keep you going with one thing and then balance and then buff you up to the other wherever you were struggling. I was struggling socially, not because I was having trouble making friends and all that stuff, not because I was like a bad kid, but I had trouble
So
making.
the struggling socially, does it have to be diagnosed or like?
Well, I diagnosed have Asperger's, so.
Because I mean, I hate people in real life. I mean, I could go to an
Doesn't
easy
mean
school.
it was like a special like an 80 like a what's it called ADD school. There you go, some ADD school.
Okay.
It was a private special. Like everyone was on the McKay scholarship. It's a confusing thing. Let's go on to another team here. We talked about San Diego. They have a quarterback that's not Jihad Vircher. They have a logo that's no longer a Russian jet.
14-0. They're going 14-0 since they don't have Jihad.
But they lost their 2 best players.
But they lost their worst player.
Didn't one of them
they
end
still have
up?
their same head coach from last year.
Didn't one of them end up getting sent by the Rattlers?
Yes, Terrence Fulham, their only good defensive player from last year. He's now going to be. He was team captain. He was like overall team captain last year for the Strike Force. He's going to be like a 3rd string backup this year for the Rattlers. Because of how, well, I guess, yeah, just because of how stacked the Rattlers are.
As is tradition with the Rattlers.
Yes, yeah. Even getting back to the Arena League days, they always pay under the table to stack the deck in their favor.
Paraplegic toddler.
If you're not cheating, you're not.
Jeff Ziemba signed up in Green Bay, though. Jeff Ziemba's a good QB, contrary to what you think, Mr. Netanyahu.
But he's paraplegic.
He's not a paraplegic
You're not
toddler. If he's a paraplegic toddler, then Verlon Reed has no knees.
He does.
Those were your words, Target Toad.
I know. I just realized I trapped myself. Speaking of traps, let's go to the Frisco Fighters. According to Skill, they have 3 players on their roster. One of them is a 3rd stringer. Was a guy who was a 3rd stringer in Sioux Falls like a month ago, who they released because they already have 2 quality quarterbacks in Rookie of the Year Tommy Armstrong and Lorenzo Brown. We'll get to Sioux Falls in a minute. The bane of Arizona's existence. We'll get to them in a minute. But
I mean, hey, it's only fair. We beat them in the championship one season. They gotta beat us. You know, so the cycle resets itself. Arizona Rattlers, IFL champions, 2020.
So does that mean that Iowa wins in 2021?
No, I was never winning again because Paul's a fan of them.
No, I thought he was an Oakland Panthers fan.
Yeah, he's an Oakland Panthers fan now, so they're free.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he bandwagoned to the Oakland Panthers.
He must like Skittles or something.
Let's see. To find another team, Frisco. They have Clint Dozell. They have essentially the entire Philly, all the guys who are like the core Philly stars from the last decade on their roster. The problem is they're all coaches, not players, and they have no players right now. They have an open tryout that just happened, but they haven't updated their website yet. So as far as I know, they have no players in the team. I mean, if Clint Dozell goes 7-7 with Frisco, that's going to be his greatest accomplishment, in my opinion. Not getting. I mean,
well, it's going to be hard to go 7-7 with a team with only 3 players on it. So,
they're going to sign some guys from the Dallas YMCA Basketball League Rec Center. So,
hey, you don't doubt their skills.
I will gladly vote for him for Coach of the Year if he can get a win with, even just one win with 3 players on his team. Deservedly so.
Well, I mean, the entire coaching staff is legitimately just like the Philadelphia Soul starting roster from last year. So, like Bradenbach, Keanamoku, which I'm never gonna pronounce, but I love how his name. I love how that awesome name. I can never pronounce it the way the announcers do. Darius Prince. God, I think no. Prince went to the CFL. Darius Reynolds. That's what I'm thinking of. Because yeah, Prince went to the CFL, and then I think he went to the. Oh gosh, where did he end up? Not Carolina. I forgot already. I guess we're going to the next bunch. The other Roy Choi team, the Cedar Rapids River Kangs, or like
Kangs.
yeah, Kangs. The Cedar Rapids River Kings. The Lion logo. Next year they're going to probably be in El Paso because their lease in Cedar Rapids is up. Roy Choi's on the
El
West
Paso
Coast.
Jumpers.
They're bad. They do have San Diego's quarterback from last year and a new coach, but I don't think it's going to mean much. I mean, Shavius has gone to San Diego. I just don't see much talent on the roster I mean, they lost their best receiver to Jacksonville in the NAL. I just don't see much talent on the Cedar King Rapids roster. Derek Burn's a decent QB, but I don't see enough around him for Cedar Rapids to do anything more than like 3-11 or 4-10 at most. But hey, we'll find out in a little less than a month.
Bold take for me. They don't win a game.
Yeah, I'm not that surprised. I would not be that surprised if that happened.
It's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens.
Let's see if there's any other teams I missed. Oh, I did miss two more teams. The Sioux Falls Storm. The Sioux Falls Storm are a
repeating as champions.
That's Ben's team, by the way. I don't see him repeating. They have a new owner. They still have Curtis. They still have Mark Riggs, not Curtis Riggs. I don't know. Wait, is it? Oh gosh, I don't even remember the coach's name.
Curtis Riggs.
It's Curtis Riggs. I kept calling him Mark Riggs. Okay, good. Yeah, Curtis Riggs. He's still got a good coach. Oh wait, wrong team. Yeah, they still got a good coach. Basically the same roster from last year, although they did pick up Tommy Armstrong from Nebraska to be the backup quarterback. That's huge.
It's probably a better quarterback than Lorenzo Brown anyway.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they did lose their best receiver, not Quentin Shepard. They did Brandon Shepard, I believe, to the CFL, the Argonauts. But they still have they still have some good players. They're going to be dominant in the Central. I mean, no one is there in the Central, so. And then we go to the next team, the Carolina Cobras, Wichita Nighthawks, a.k.a. the Spokane Shock. So, BB, do you remember the Wichita Falls Nighthawks at all?
I never really watched any of their games. They were still in the league the first season. The Rattlers were. I remember them, I don't know, at least the games I saw, they seemed to play somewhat decent. But
they did go 12-4 the year the Rattlers were in there. However, they missed the playoffs because the Rattlers because they were in the conference with 13-3 Iowa and 14-2 Sioux Falls, rather than 12-4 Arizona and 9-7 Nebraska.
Sucks.
Yeah, sucks.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Mm-hmm. But hey, there are no conferences this year. I mean, there are no conferences this year. Next year, there aren't even divisions. There are even official divisions this year. There's divisions I made up, which I will announce at the end after I get to this quick preview for Spokane. They're going to be pretty good, honestly. They might be the second best team.
Don't tell Duke City that there aren't any conferences, because they think there are.
Bruh, Duke City gets an F in geography. All right, like straight up, Duke City gets an F in geography.
Couldn't be me.
Ben, you'll at least get a C in geography. Come on, man. Be a little more optimistic.
Yeah, you're going to say 74.
No. I only get 74 in
yourself,
English.
Man. Like, really, though. You need confidence in yourself.
I'd get an A in anything like that. But English, yeah, I get C's. I'm a solid C. 78.
See if I can find my... I haven't posted in a while, but I remember the divisions. Let me go back to the IFL geographic map. Let me go back to the map. the IFL geographic map. So my divisions, by the way, the East Division is. Oh, no, they're okay. The maps. I thought the map was horrible. No, the map is still on date. Wait, no. What? Sorry. The Eastern Division is Green Bay, Quad City, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The Central is Bismarck, Sioux Falls, Duke City, and Frisco. And the West is Tucson, Arizona, San Diego, Oakland, and Spokane. Now, I don't know how much left we really have time-wise for this. Like, I don't know how much longer you guys can go on, will go on. But, let's see if I can find one last thing I do want to do. At both of y'all's request, before we clock off for the night, again, special thanks to our guest, Benjamin Netanyahu.
Happy to be here.
And, of course, my co-host, Ben the Quarterback.
Back, of course.
Dimes.
Throwing dimes, alright. And now, you guys were referring to the entire time. I hope you guys can hear this. Here we go.
Arena Football League history won't be around this season. The Tampa Bay Storm announcing today they're suspending operations for at least the upcoming season. This will be the first time since before the 1991 season Tampa Bay won't have a season of arena football. The reason for suspending operations had to do with rising league fees and reduced revenue. Tampa Bay Entertainment Properties President Steve Griggs saying, quote, after further evaluation, we've elected to reallocate the resources dedicated to arena football for other resources within our organization. Get this, the Storm is the 13th AFL team to suspend or end operations since 2013.
By the way, that number has been updated to about 20. That number has been updated to 20 to 19, with actually 20. Now with the suspension of the 4th to 6th current teams, and then Cleveland failing to come back.
I think you should play that 300 more times.
Yeah, that's what Ben spammed 300 more times to get me to stop singing, which led to the chain of events, which led to stuff on the Discord. By the way, that Discord, 50/50 Yard Shitposting Discord link will be in the description, along with the link on Arena Fan. And hopefully I can put in the description of the Podbean if I remember to do that. Special thank, I want to say again, once again, special thank you to Benjamin Netanyahu for coming on with us today, taking some time out of his busy duty. Of course, there's my co-host Ben the QB, and I am TT. Thank you all, and we will see you, and we'll see you on February 29th, noon. February 29th, 2 p.m.
It's not a real
Eastern
day.
Standard Time. Noon Pacific Mountain Time, and 1 p.m. Central Time. Join the 50-Yard Shitposting Discord for a special episode, a special psychotic episode of Ben passing the target before we move on to the regular season. Love to see y'all on weekday. The link will be in the description to the Discord. I'll be posting an update every week to remind everybody. Thank you all for coming, and we will see you all next time. Please tell me this thing recorded and we didn't just waste an hour.